Testing 1, 2. This is DJ Torch on the ones and twos. Just about to get this party started. Before we get started, just want to break down a jam. Here we go. All right, let's get right into it. Just wanted to kick a little intro. And yeah. Let me start this off on a positive note tonight. Let's go over some of the richest African American men and women in the United States. Here we go.
Today on Forbes, this tech entrepreneur is the richest black person in America. The wealthiest black person in America is IT entrepreneur David Steward, according to the 2024 Forbes 400 list of wealthiest Americans. Last week, on October 1st, Forbes revealed its annual ranking, which estimated the Missouri resident's net worth at a record $11.4 billion, up from $7.6 billion last year and $6 billion the year before that. Steward, who resides in St. Louis, tops private equity billionaire Robert Smith, who is the second richest, with an estimated net worth of $10.8 billion. They're two of just four black members on the 2024 ranking, which required a minimum net worth of $3.3 billion, the most ever. That means just 1% of the list members are black entrepreneurs or executives. The other two are Palantir co-founder Alexander Karp, who makes his debut with an estimated $3.6 billion, and NBA great Michael Jordan, worth an estimated $3.5 billion. Steward, who is 73 years old, is the majority owner of Worldwide Technology, or WWT, alongside partner Jim Kavanaugh. A native of Clinton, Missouri, Steward initially put up $250,000 in capital to start WWT in 1990, according to a 2019 Forbes profile. Over the years, the IT service provider went on to nab top corporate clients, including Apple, Citi, Microsoft, and the federal government. In 2023, WWT had sales of $17 billion. Roughly 67% of the Forbes 400 are self-made this year, including all four of the black members. Steward, though, is among a very elite group of just 25 billionaires who have been given a maximum 10 on the self-made scorecard.
That's a lot of money right there, if you ask me. Let's keep it going here. Let's keep it going. I'll start on a good note tonight, talking about some black millionaires. Here we go.
Meaning that he is one of just a handful who truly have rags to riches stories.
I mean, billionaires with a B, with a B for Bob.
Steward grew up in the segregated South with 7 siblings. His father worked as a mechanic, janitor, and trash collector. After graduating from Central Missouri University, he worked in sales for the Missouri Pacific Railroad, Union Pacific, and FedEx. In 1983, Steward purchased his first business, an auditing company called Transportation Business Specialists, using loans from community banks throughout Missouri. In the early days of Worldwide Technology, which, as we said, he co-founded in 1990, Steward sometimes went without a paycheck and once watched his car get repossessed from the office parking lot. During a lecture in 2013 at the Optical Fiber Communication Conference, Steward told the crowd, quote, "You know what it takes to get into business and what it takes to be an entrepreneur? It takes a little risk. It takes a little risk. It does. It's getting past your fears. It's having much faith of the possibilities as well. And being able to put everything on the line because you know you've been called upon to do something very special. It doesn't take a whole lot of money." Overall, Steward ranks number 84 on the 400 list in 2024, up from number 121 in 2023, and from number 155 in 2022. Smith, the CEO of private equity firm Vista Equity Partners, is ranked number 88, up one spot from last year when he was worth $9.2 billion. Karp, meanwhile, is one of 23 newcomers to the list. The trio of Steward, Smith, and Karp made their wealth in the two most common industries for the 400 wealthiest Americans, finance and tech. Jordan made his fortune in sports, but mainly after transitioning from NBA player to NBA team owner. Jordan, who ranks number 385 with a net worth of $3.5 billion, first debuted a year ago after selling his majority stake in the Charlotte Hornets for $3 billion. Several other black billionaires are part of the 415 Americans who are worth 10 figures but are still simply not rich enough to make the Forbes 400. That includes Oprah Winfrey at $3 billion, Sean Jay-Z Carter at $2.5 billion.
Well, that's for right now. We don't. We'll find out what happens with the Diddy case. You know what I mean? Things might change.
Tope Awatana at $1.4 billion, Tyler Perry at $1.4 billion, Rihanna at $1.4 billion, Tiger Woods at $1.3 billion, LeBron James at $1.2 billion, Magic Johnson at $1.2 billion.
Yeah, that's funny. LeBron James actually started a real school, unlike somebody else we have on our list of guests on our show tonight. I mean, video guests, I should say. Here we go.
And Sheila Johnson at $1 billion. For full coverage and to see the whole 2024 Forbes 400 list, check out Jabari Young's piece on Forbes.com.
All right. So I just wanted to show everyone what the possibilities are when you put your mind to it. And I don't think they're worried about any of these wealthy people are worried about child support, but we're going to keep it going. Here we go. Here we go.
As we approach the final days of the 2024 election, Kamala Harris is building remarkable momentum, buoyed by strong voter enthusiasm and key Democratic positions on critical issues. Her campaign has also gained a significant boost from early voting numbers, particularly in Georgia, where participation has already hit 50% of the total turnout from 2020, a historic achievement, and in Pennsylvania, where voter turnout has been heavily favoring Democrats, further energizing her campaign.
All right. We're going to keep this going, though. Here we go. This is it, starting the show right here. Welcome to DJ Torch Live and Friends Empowerment Network.
And the pot calls the kettle black, calls the kettle burnt, calls her mad. Kettle reminds the pot that we both been burned on the same stove, that the parts of our bodies that are layered in soot were scorched by the same hands. Kettle tells pot that she still boils water, holds the hot breath of a white man's tongue, endures the slow simmer of a white woman's allyship, and still we make something beautiful. Pot calls the kettle wicked, and kettle says no, but says she's so magical she burned the hand of the last man who tried to pour himself a piece of her. Says she's so black she is everything, so black she is the beginning. She is the first thing someone finds home in when they wake up in the morning. Says ain't that what it means to be black? To have the world go up in flames around you and still be sanctuary for someone, saving men who lost themselves the night before, saving men who curse our names but forget his mama is made of steel too. And now the pot has no words but calls the kettle bitter, but loves the glass pan, the fine china, loves all the exotic shit white men put behind glass casings, loves how fragile things not made of steel can be. But this isn't about the pot or the pan. This is about the kettle, the black woman, how she pours herself across the earth, but no one bats an eye when the water disappears. We give ourselves to men who never love us, but they say we are difficult, too hard to break. How we, the kettle, praise this pot, this man for all the water he holds. How we are the only ones who do not call him monster when the water boils over, because we know this heat, this white flame, hot enough to make any of us explode. We are the first ones to make noise when the world goes up in flames, but they say the earth was saved by the man who heard her scream. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says yes, but says you best remember you black too. The next time they bring a fire to your neck, they burn black bodies on the stake and the stove. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says, bitch, I might be. Says, nuck if you buck, then says, wipe me down. Kettle says, yes, my nigga, I be black, I be mad, and I boiled the last man down to his bones when he tried to test me. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says, hell yes. But don't say my name as if you ain't ever been burnt too.
Vice President Kamala Harris is making a renewed pitch to a key voting bloc, young black men. Yesterday, the vice president laid out how her economic plan can help that community during an interview with the National Association of Black Journalists held in Philadelphia. It comes as polls show that Donald Trump has gained some ground with that group.
I think it's very important to not operate from the assumption that black men are in anybody's pocket. Black men are like any other voting group. You got to earn their vote. So I'm working to earn the vote, not assuming I'm going to have it because I am black, but because the policies and the perspectives I have understands what we must do to recognize the needs of all communities. And I intend to be a president for all people. Our young black men, our black men, just like any group of people, anybody, our small businesses are really the backbone of our economy overall. And when they do better economically, we all do better.
Joining us now, White House correspondent for Politico and co-author of the playbook, Eugene Daniels. Eugene was one of those conducting that interview yesterday, one of the moderators there with the vice president. Eugene, nice job yesterday.
Thank you.
So let's start there with this idea of young black men. We know that Donald Trump has spent some time trying to make inroads there. What are the latest in terms of the polls say? Is he being successful? And what is the vice president doing to try to win their support, as she said, particularly on issues of like affordability?
Exactly. I mean, one of the things that's really interesting with Donald Trump is the way that he does it. It kind of shows a party, a man who is kind of engaging with people they don't typically do, right? They do it in sometimes kind of clumsy ways. There's like the shiny shoes, there's these rappers, and that's kind of the view of which they go when they go and talk to black male voters. But some of it's working, right? The polls are kind of all over the place. So it's unclear how it would work out. And when you talk to black advocates and honestly black pollsters, they say it's hard to talk to and figure out how to poll black men specifically and the black population in general. So that's one thing that's folks, when they look at these polls.
This is how you poll male voters. You promise them control over black women, and then they're all in. That's basically what it is. Let's keep it going. Here we go.
Should take into account. For Vice President Harris, since she was just vice president and running mate, right, and not the top of the ticket, she's been meeting with black men. She's brought them to the president's residence, and from there, kind of birthed this economic economic opportunity tour that she took on. That was about black men. She had this huge round table.
No, see, black men, we're not. I mean, as far as it sounds like that right now, black men aren't looking for economic opportunity. We aren't. And I'm going to keep that a surprise. Keep watching. Here we go.
Black men about capital for entrepreneurship. And so there are ways in which she's talking about it. But even in that clip, she zooms out even more and talks about how if you help kind of the most marginalized communities in this country, all the boats rise. And I think that is kind of where their focus is. So she's talking about affordability. She's talking about they want to be entrepreneurs. And she has said in the past, she wants the folks to get out of their way, help them, give them the tools, but not baby them, because, black men don't want that or need it.
No. So we played earlier in the show a moment from your interview yesterday where she talks about Springfield, Ohio, and the impact on children there because schools have been closed because of bomb threats. And that was a real theme yesterday, the idea of political violence and the rhetoric that inspires it, whether it's Springfield or the Trump assassination attempts or January 6th. Tell us more about what she had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that was most interesting is, one, she said that she talked to Donald Trump, right? And she said that she told him what she'd said in public, which was that political violence has no place in American politics. And on Springfield, I thought it was one of maybe the most passionate answer that she gave and maybe has given ever on these kinds of issues. because she started with the kids that were getting ready to go for picture day, right? And talked about the fact that they lost their picture day because of that. She talked about, if you are someone who wants the mantle of leadership in this country, in the microphone she kept talking about, then you need to behave in a certain way. And it kind of gave a lot of folks a view into Harris that she doesn't often give. And, I've been covering her for 4 years, and these kinds of ways of thinking and pushing and talking about it, she doesn't always do. And luckily we had so much time with her. We pushed how much time we had with her to the brink. Her team was like peaking and trying to get us to cut it out. But at the end of the day, I think she got a lot of time to give people some insight into her head and who she is, which is what voters are looking for.
And that's what I think, she did so well at the debate a week or so back. But the one criticism, if there was that she perhaps didn't use the time to present more of her vision. She was so good at attacking Trump. And now she's only done a few of these high profile interviews. She, of course, did one yesterday. So it feels like an opportunity for her team. Tell us more about her strategy and any other takeaways you had from yesterday.
Yeah, I think the team says that they're going to keep doing interviews. I think they were looking at this one as kind of a big one to kind of get behind them. But they say she's going to be doing a lot of sit downs on daytime talk shows, that she's going to do radio and TV hits both nationally and locally especially in these swing states. So that's one. I mean, I guess my takeaway was that, this was also a vice president who is grappling with race in a really interesting way, right? When she talked about when she talked about whether it was Springfield or reparations or Black men in the economy or earning their vote, she also always navigated to talking about the rest of the American people, and not that, Black people should be so enraged all the time about race, but that everyone should be upset about racism. And it's a way to, her allies say, bring people into the conversation instead of making white people, frankly, feel shamed about the kinds of things that are happening in this country. We're writing about that. I wrote about that in Playbook this morning, so that'll come out.
Let me pause that right there. I'd like to welcome Bridget and Henry to the house. Good seeing you. This is the thing. You know what's funny is that it seems like that Black men hold women who are of closer to non-Black higher in esteem when it comes to dating, but then they criticize Black women that are not, that might be mixed or something else when it comes to positions of power. I find that, well, really, quite honestly, they question Black women in positions of power at all. But now they're trying to bring that kind of scrutiny towards Kamala Harris, who basically is whether you think she's Black or not, it doesn't matter. Is she the more logical choice? But let's going to move forward, because I just wanted to give you a preface of what's going to be going down today. So she wants to win the vote of Black men. That's what's going down. So basically the men, they had a town meeting and the men decided that one of the top thing that Black men wanted was child support forgiveness. Let me give you a breakdown of how, a little bit of what's going on here. Here we go.
Black men were asked, what would Vice President Kamala have to bring to the table in order to get their vote? And they didn't say student loan forgiveness or affordable housing or affordable health care or even resources for the Black community. They said child support forgiveness.
All those good things you could ask for. The representatives were in a candy store and they chose the one thing. Thank you, Henry. Thank you so much. They chose the one thing that you should want to pay. Thank you, Henry. I will do so. Definitely. Thank you. Let's keep it going.
For the kids that they already aren't taken care of, because 9 times out of 10, you're on child support because you are negligent. My daughter's dad was on child support and I took him off of child support because he got to get her for a whole year. He is married and they have a daughter together, but he got to see how expensive it is to raise a kid, from getting her braces adjusted every month, braids every 6 weeks, constantly growing, needing new clothes because she's getting taller, and all these different activities. And now he has her as an authorized user on his credit card, which is linked to her Apple Pay, and we don't have any child support issues anymore.
A man in Tennessee.
Wait, let me pause that right there. So basically, yeah, let's keep this going. Let's prime this up and everything. Let's see why these men really, make child support a priority. Listen to this.
Tennessee has 30 children with 11 different women, and he is 33 years old. Now, according to CNN affiliate WREG, he is now begging the state to help him pay his child support. I want to bring back in Sunny Hostin. She's on the case with us, as always.
Let me pause before we even go any further. He's 30 years old, has over 30 kids, okay, with 11 women. And he wants help with his child support. So what kid number made him think to himself like, wow, I can't afford these kids? When did that happen? But you got to understand the depth, the lack of empathy he has for doing this. Number one, birthing so many kids, and the lack of ownership of his responsibilities and ownership of mistakes that make him, this is what you call a lack of an accountability. Hazel Bug in the house. Good seeing you, Hazel Bug. Here we go.
Honey, I know. I know some of the moms are only getting a couple of dollars a month for child support in and of itself. Do you actually think the state is going to say, okay, buddy, you got 30 kids, we're going to help you?
I don't think so. And I got to tell you, Brooke, you and I talk about a lot of things on this program, and I am rarely stumped and
It's
don't
a
have
stump
much to
moment
say.
for you.
I'm stumped. I mean, what? It's almost like there's a large group of men that don't understand that if you drop a big rock on your foot, you're going to break your toe. It's as if you don't think like that. It's like, there's a cause and there's an effect. You have, relations with somebody without proper protection or without, vetting the person to make sure that, if nothing, nothing's going to happen, right? There's no kids. You just throw all caution to the wind and do it anyway. For what? And I do know why, but we're going to talk about it later. Let's keep it going. Here we go.
It's a stump moment for me. I mean, I can talk to a wall, and I don't know what to say about this guy. I mean, the bottom line is, in Tennessee, when he is working his minimum wage job, he is supposed to give 50% of his paycheck to the 11 women that he fathered these children with, and they are supposed to divide it equally. The problem,
there's just no math that will make that work. There's absolutely no math that's going to make that work. And this is the number one problem that we have in America as Black men, is the fact that our lack of accountability makes things worse for us, because he has a lack of accountability. Maybe if he had even if he was a millionaire or a billionaire, he would be able to say, well, I don't care if I have 30 kids because I can afford to take care of them. Kind of like what Elon Musk does, even though the kids obviously don't get the attention they want. So what I've learned is this: there are some men out there that are just criminal with their sperm. And he is one of them. There is no way you can afford that many kids ever. Ever. Yeah, yeah, Henry Myers. Is he competing with Elon Musk? Musk had 12 at the latest count. Yeah, Musk is catching up. But the one little thick caveat he has is that he's going to be not the best father. We know that, but at least he can afford to feed them. This guy right here, he can't even afford to feed them. You know? Yeah, Elon Musk's got $1 billion payday from Tesla. He can pay, but his kids have refused him because he's never there. Well said, bars. Here we go.
Some of the women are only getting $1.49 because he does work minimum wage. So just this week, he appeared in court and he's asking the court to give him a break on those payments, on the $1.49 that he's giving to help support his children. I don't think that the judge is going to help him out, you know, and I was reading recently that one of the...
See, this is the thing. They're not making him pay because he's taking care of the kids, because he's not. It's more the court. Look, let's face it, $1. It probably costs them $2 just to send him out the bill. Okay, they're doing it because of a symbolic item. It's like, you did not have to. This man did not have to have 30 kids. There's nothing. But he's suffering from the same damage a lot of the younger men in our community have, where they feel like they don't have to be accountable to anyone. That's what it is. And now it's a little bit of a problem because he has to split that $1.50 to, for every household. That's 11 households. He's complaining about 11 households. He's probably only paying like $50 a month, it sounds like.
News reports said that perhaps he needs to now do the cost-benefit analysis of birth control. And I think that's a really good suggestion for this guy.
We shouldn't laugh.
Exactly. There's no excuse. And so here is the first argument against child support forgiveness. Is like, most of the men who have to pay child support, not all, but a large portion of them have been irresponsible with their sperm for a long time.
I mean, the man is 33. He's young. And then back in 2009, he only had 21 kids. Take a listen.
Do you intend to keep having children?
No.
You're done?
I'm done. Hopefully I'm done.
What made you decide that?
I didn't intend to have this many. It just happened.
They should not even call him a father. They should just call him a sperm donor. I think that's when men do not at least make the minimum, let's call it the minimum contribution to being a father, which means father time with kids and all that kind of stuff. We should just call them sperm donors.
It just happened, he says. Is this
so it just happened? Okay, 33 kids just happened.
A trend? Do we believe him that he'll stop?
Let's hope it'll stop. I mean, bottom line is the state can't force him to stop. It's not against the law to have all of these children. And again, maybe he just really needs to now think about the cost benefit.
I think it should. I mean, really, quite honestly, it should be against the law in our community, at least, because it's one of the primary reasons our communities are suffering. The kids are not getting enough attention from their fathers, positive attention from their fathers. And let's face it, that's one of the primary issues. It's crazy.
Analysis of birth control, because he can't afford to support these children. And I think therein lies the tragedy of this story. Now you have all of these children, 30 of them,
and all these mothers
without the support, and all these mothers, and probably without the support that they need to become, wonderful members of our society.
The government.
Yep. Let me, that is basically crazy. So, I would say that his number is not common, but his mentality and his lack of responsibility is a very common problem in our community. Let's listen again. Here we go.
It keeps sending me all these messages about, tuition and college forgiveness. How about child support? How about taxes? Huh? How about those forgivenesses?
So I had made a post on TikTok that kind of got a, I'm not gonna say it got a lot of good, it's got a, let me see.
Come on, bro. You have my age. Don't forget your words, man.
So I made a post on TikTok, you know, about black men and so I made a post on TikTok talking about what the black men want from Kamala Harris. And it actually was received very well, but there was, you know, a select specific type of black men that I kind of got pushed back for because I did mention in the video it wasn't all black men. It's just, you know, a minority of black men that seem to be really loud on social media. And, you know, there was a lot of large content creators who were black women saying they were going to walk away from black men because it seems like they just don't like black women in general. And
And they have a very good point. They have a very good point. Actions speak louder than words. And I'm going to show you actions that not only do a lot of the black men in our community don't like black women, they don't even like their own kids. Keep listening.
they don't like Kamala Harris, one, because she's black. Even she's black, but people say she's not black. And then, you know, they go through this whole, you know, her family tree about trying to prove how she's not black and all of this. So I'm not even trying to even get into that talking point. But, you know, the post I made was just
they have no problem with Kim Kardashian. If Kim Kardashian was running, these black men wouldn't have a problem with her. Isn't that weird?
basically saying to black men, like, what do you actually want from Kamala Harris? Because I see, again, black men, but not all black men, get on social media and complain about they don't have any social economic mobility, you know, and then she literally comes out.
Like and you just saw me, I just played a clip of a man with 33 kids. Look, even if he was a millionaire, he'd still have child support issues. That's how many kids he's got. If you're that irresponsible, if you're that irresponsible with basically money and your sperm, why should anybody make a program for you? There's no way they can fix that for you. They can't fix that. They can't fix stupid. They really can't.
With a plan for black men, basically saying, you know, she wants to provide the tools, you know, for black men to build wealth, support their families and lead their communities, which I think is an awesome thing for black men who say they're struggling and they don't have, you know, the money the money to start businesses, the money to go to college, you know, they don't have money to raise their families, they don't have money to buy a home, you know, even if they do have a job, the job is low paying. It's like there's a lot of
right. I mean, the thing is that there's so many problem solving items you can ask Harris for. So many items. Child support shouldn't even be one of them. You should be able, oh, wow, you should be saying to yourself, you know something, I want the capability to support my children. That's what you should be saying. I love all my kids. I'm there for them, but due to other, let's say, discriminatory situations, I cannot earn the amount to support my children who I see every day, which you should be, right? That's not it. That's not what happened. Let's keep it going.
There's just a lot of complaints. And then my thing is if you actually have a VP who's running to be the president puts forth an actual plan solely for black men, I think that would be something that you can get behind. You know, we said Barack Obama didn't do anything for black people. Well, basically no president has done anything for black people in general, just solely for black people. But then you have Kamala Harris, because I mess up her name so much, but Kamala Harris putting something forth for Black men in general, you know, providing, like it says here, providing 1 million in loans that are fully forgivable to Black entrepreneurs and others to start a business.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Let's keep it going. Here we go.
Championing education, training, and mentorship programs to help Black men get.
Yep, I mean, better schools would help a lot. I've worked in school systems, and they're not that great, public ones.
Good paying jobs and in high,
unless you're in the suburbs, that is,
demand industries and lead their communities, including pathways to become teachers.
Well, the problem is that the leadership thing is a huge issue. Diddy was a leader. Jay-Z is a leader. Chris Brown is a leader. Those are people that people see them as leader. Half of the rap industries are looked upon as leaders, and you see the results. So the thing is this: I really believe that the government would love to help us, because they know that if they help us, we can help them. Not, have to worry about this, what would you call it? Hemorrhaging, help them stop the hemorrhaging of money loss. The problem is that you see the results. You see them. You see the results. What do we do with our money when we do get it? If they gave you the dream amount of money, which would be a tangible amount, but would not be what would you call a resource that keeps coming. They gave you an amount that if you do the right things, you could live a good life. Okay, what would you do with it?
A regulatory framework for cryptocurrency and other digital assets, so Black men who invest in and own assets are protected. Launching a national health equity initiative focused on Black men that addresses sickle cell disease, diabetes, mental health, prostate cancer, and other health challenges that disproportionately affect them. And legalizing recreational marijuana and creating opportunities for Black Americans to succeed in that industry. Now,
right. It's crazy that most of the green plant spots are owned not by Black men who definitely over the years went to jail and prison for it. Now it's legal. Now we're not even in that. We're literally not even represented in that industry.
To me, all of that sounds good. So I could get behind something for Black men behind this. So I would vote for Kamala Harris for Black men if she can get the majority in the House of Representatives and the Senate to be able to pass this. I would vote for her for Black men. So I just don't understand how, there's so much backlash, but then I'm gonna say how.
Well said, Phoenix. So you see what they did with PPP loans. They sure did. Some of them didn't even have a business to get a PPP loan. Man.
Finicky some Black men are. People were asking, they asked on Twitter, and I can't even believe this is a real thing. But they asked on Twitter, a creator by the name Simone Bees basically asked, what kind of policy do Black men want to see specifically for them? And then this one dude, well, I guess his account saying Faithful Black Men Association. It may sound extreme, but consider a federal mandate for DNA testing of newborns with paternity fraud at 30%. Fraternity fraud is not 30%. Last time I checked, it was around 1 to 3%.
Exactly. The thing is why don't we work on our facts? Why don't we work on our facts? If you want to be seen, and respected, come on. It's not at 30%.
And then when I looked for this 30% percentage, I couldn't find like really any studies on it. So I might have to dig a little deeper, but from what I've read, it's only 1 to 3%, and it poses a significant threat to generational wealth. I will say this though, most
great threat what's posing a great threat to general to wealth. Sorry, I got my tongue tied. Generational. Look. Anyway, generational wealth is irresponsibility. I mean, really, quite honestly, let's say there wasn't the 1 or 3% going on, right? That's not, well, number one, that's nothing. That's very close to nothing. And two, I think the guy with 30 kids, they probably tested him to make sure he was a kid. But yeah, I do think that in the hospital, the child should get, as soon as possible, that the infant should get tested. I do. Just to make sure the paperwork's right.
Pretty much, except that, the 10, 5%, 1%, the population of the world is making generational wealth. The rest of us is not making generational wealth. And
let me pause it. Henry Mars nails it again. We don't like facts. We like narratives, bars.
And if you are only making $40,000 a year, you're not accruing or you're not creating generational wealth to begin with. And you need the opportunity to move up.
So what's funny to me is that they want to mock education and they want to mock women getting educated. But then now it's a problem. Now it's a problem for them because now they're not making the amount of money they want to make. Even Kevin Samuels said that the average black man makes $40,000, $43,000 a year. Look, okay, count me wrong. You can 40. No, it's 48,000. It's 48,000. Whatever. It's not enough, right? It's still not enough. It's still not enough
economically to build generational wealth, but the average person isn't building generational wealth, and child support isn't stopping you from getting generational wealth. If I'm not mistaken, the average woman, let me see, I think the average woman doesn't even get $400 in child support.
Nope.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, let him look it up. I looked it up before, but I'm going to let my man do it. This is Damn Writer, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Oops, what amount in child support? Let me see. Yeah, so just from this, it just says the median amount is $4,250 a year, or $354 per month.
Let me pause that right now. I think I'm going to take it over here. $354 a month. That is basically around a little over, under $100 a week. It's like $75, $80 a week. And you're mad at that? I mean, really, you guys are mad at that. And that's the median amount. There are some dudes who aren't even paying, some aren't paying anything. There are men out there with 10 kids and they're not paying a dime to any of those women. All of those women have to raise the children on their own dime. And then if you do have to pay, you're paying literally, basically $80 a month. $80 a week. Dude, nobody can, that's like the price that a babysitter charges for watching your kids for 4 hours. If it's an overnighter, they're like, it could get up as high as $200, depending. That's embarrassing. We should be embarrassed we even brought up child support forgiveness in the first place. There's other ways, there's other things we could do to resolve the financial issue, but not taking care of your kids, because that's what you are asking. You're asking the government to take care of your kids after cursing out the government over and over again in different actions and in words. That seems a little bit off to me.
Black people. Black people. If you're not a black person, then this don't apply to you. I am really trying to understand the logic of this election this year. I'm trying so hard to understand. Everybody's talking about what Kamala wants to do for black men to help them to get on their feet, to make them on even playing fields to other race of people in this country. And all y'all care about is child support. Kamala, bring that over here to black women. Please just bring the same thing you gonna do for them. Just bring it to black women. Because this proves a very huge, gigantic point. Black folks ain't gonna never be satisfied. This ghetto, ratchet, ignorant, stupid behavior that y'all have put in your systems since the day they took us from the Harlem Renaissance and Black Wall Street. And when African people were able to own land and put us in the ghettos. I see the programming worked at this point, because the fact that this woman is giving y'all the chance to own businesses, the chance to go to college, the chance to basically be in the positions you want to be in, to compete with these other race of men that are multi-billionaires and multi-trillionaires. And you mean to tell me y'all still on this fast money, James Scott Farron, I want my money and I want it now nonsense? What's wrong with y'all? Oh, so you want the stimulus checks. So you think because Donald Trump gave us stimulus checks, oh, you don't want longevity money. You don't want money that's passed down to your children. You don't want to have a conglomerate where you're making international sales that can be passed down to your children. You don't want generational wealth for your family. No, you want money for you. You want cash.
She's breaking it down right now. Bars. Insert Ali is here, is in the house. JG Music in the house. Phoenix Soul in the house. Henry Mars is in the house. Here we go.
Isn't that what Wu-Tang said? Cash rules everything around me. Cream get the money, dollar bill, y'all. But yet Elon Musk is a trillionaire. Bill Gates is a trillionaire. People in Saudi Arabia got people that are trillionaires. People in Dubai are trillionaires. And what are Black, African, and African descent people? Because I can't think of nobody in the African or African descent or Black people that are trillionaires.
I have to look and see. I think there's some Nigerian kings that might have that kind of money. And we did go over some billionaires earlier today. So we have billionaires, we have multi-billionaires, but no trillionaires.
So you about the dollar, and the dollar is about to be non-extinct? That the dollar is slowly declining. No wonder. It explains why all of y'all want to sell your businesses and couldn't understand where the guy that was saying about Tabitha, instead of her selling to other people, keeping her stuff and having 100% of her business. Y'all couldn't understand that. But you want child support to be removed and you ain't taking care of your kids as it is. Man, let me tell you something.
I mean, yeah, this is my argument. We have so many other opportunities that we could have been requesting, and earning. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
The highest amount that most people on DSS gets is $107. Might be more than that, might be less. I don't know. Some people only get $50 a month in child support for 18 years. Yep. Even Chris Brown's baby mom gets $9,000 compared to Blake Griffin's, who pays $200 and some thousand for 3 kids. Oh, okay. You pay less in child support than any other race of people in this country. And you're complaining about child support, but yet you keep producing and keep having all these babies, and you can't keep your peen to yourself. You can't keep your peen in your pants. You can't be celibate, but you want to lower child support. So you want to put all the weight on a woman so you can do what you want to and get as many women as you want pregnant, and yet these women have to raise your kids. And then you wonder when these women are leaving these kids by themselves and these kids end up unalived, or DSS is coming to get your child. Why it come right back to you? I wonder why.
I mean, I think that pretty much, breaks it down how I feel about it. As you remember, I went over the guy who had 30 kids, just in case, just for a recap. I'll put them on right now. Here we go.
A man in Tennessee has 30 children with 11 different women, and he is 33 years old. Now, according to CNN affiliate WREG, he is now begging the state to help him pay his child support. I want to bring back in Sunny Hostin. She's on the case with us as always. And Sunny,
Let's listen to the guy talk. Let's listen to his side of the story. Let's give him his side of the story.
Wall, and I don't know what to say about this guy. I mean, the bottom line, stumped.
Wait. Okay.
And I can talk to a wall, and I don't know what to say about this guy. I mean, the bottom line is, in Tennessee, when he is working his minimum wage job, he is supposed to give 50% of his paycheck to the 11 women that he fathered these children with.
I mean, there's not much he can do with that.
One of the news reports said that perhaps he needs
Having children?
No.
You're done.
I'm done. Hopefully I'm done.
What made you decide that?
I didn't intend to have this many. It just happened.
it just happened, he says.
It just happened. Let me get back into the mix here. Let me get back into the mix. This is what I think is what's going on, everybody. This is what I think what's going on.
Comedian Corey Holcomb, please forgive me if I'm saying his wrong, Mace Motherhood. I'm not going to quote what he said. I'm just going to put.
Okay, let me bring it forward. This is what I think. This could be the only answer, because for someone you truly love, you would never want them to struggle, right? Well, this is why. This is why they're asking for child support forgiveness, in my opinion.
Please believe me when I tell you this. This is not all men, but I would say it's about 80% of men. If we don't love your mother, we don't really love you, motherfucker.
Oh, come on.
There it is. There it is. Red Pill star Corey Holcomb breaking it down for you. See, the issue in our community, we have financial issues in our community. That is for true. But I will tell you this. There are a lot of men out there who lack any empathy at all for anything else or anybody else but themselves. And there's no way to fix that. Henry Marr says, Dangote is a Nigerian billionaire. Other African millionaires are pastors. So Corey Holcomb, I just went to Corey Holcomb, the Red Pill superstar, and he just told you how you all feel. He told on you. He told on you. He did. And then many of you have this attitude.
A lot of people see my situation and not think that I'm not high functioning.
What situation?
See my situation. That's a very vague question, and it's for you.
What situation are you referring to that they're looking at and thinking is not high functioning?
Just my life.
your life entirely or your life in
My life,
relationships?
my life, my life.
See, don't deflect. Let's stay here. Your life entirely or your life in relationships?
Both really.
And they think that you're low functioning.
No, I don't.
You just said people see your life and think you're not high functioning. The opposite of that would be low functioning.
No. Okay, so here you go. You're trying to take my intentions away from.
No. What she's trying to do is get to the crux of of what you're trying to say, bro. You can see he's a manipulative, manipulative person.
This is can I correct it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or can I give you more?
Yeah, some more information. Heck yeah.
So
he's gonna try to think of something else that sounds better. That's what he's.
I'm not married, right? I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
I thought I didn't do my research. I thought it was 4, but 8. Okay.
No, baby.
Cool.
It's
By how
8.
many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more.
A lot of you think like that. The difference is that even though it's still irresponsible what Cam did, at least financially he can support them. Who knows? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Okay. But a lot of the men out there cannot. But they still want to have multiple kids because to them, not taking care of kids is an expression of power, but just having multiple kids is an expression of power. That's the weirdest thing that I thought about this and I studied the psychology about it, but it does this for men in our community. One, they get control over that woman who had their kids. Maybe not full control. Who knows? Maybe, she marries a Russell Wilson and then that guy is just like, I don't give a F about dude. I'll take care of everybody. And that's probably why they hate Russell Wilson more than calling him a simp, but I'll break that down in a minute. Or 2, they get, not only do they get access to that woman physically, but they probably get access to the woman's resources. Yes. All this time, y'all were saying that it was, black women trapping you guys. Were not to say that in reality, financially, you're trapping her. You're literally trapping her. I mean, she had your child. Where's she going to go? She has to take care of the child. You might say you want to take care of it just because you don't want to pay child support. But for the most part, she's trapped with your kid. Now you like, let's think about it. Remember when Krishan Rock had her kid? And, Blueface would be going over to her house whenever he wanted to, would go to the studio where she was working whenever he wanted to. That's what he wanted. What Blueface didn't want the child. He wanted control and access whenever he wanted it. That's what happened. Here we go.
Now,
by multiple women? What's the intent?
I just want God
about
to
your
bring
wife?
him. I just want God to bring him.
Oh, okay. And you have, so you just
Because my point.
See, and he reaches out there for God. God would have said, "Stop, bro. God gave us responsibility. God gave us logic. Where was that? Where was that? Let's let Tony Gaskins break it down real quick. Here we go.
Hey, Tony Gaskins here. It's one thing I was thinking about this morning. I was on a red eye and I got off the plane 6 a.m. and I came home. By the time I got home, I was able to sleep an hour and I had to get up and go to a thing that my 5-year-old was having at school. And every single day I remind myself and I try to think about your children's story. So me raising 2 boys, I ask myself, what do I want my sons to say about their father? And I think that a lot of men who have brought children into the world don't take the time to ask that question. I know at least half the men on this earth don't take the time to ask that question, because what is your child's story? When your child talks about you, what will be his or her story? Oh, my dad abused my mom. My dad left my mom. My dad had a baby by another woman on my mom. My dad was more focused on money and doing other things than spending time with me. My dad didn't come to my recitals, my games. My dad was absent. My dad was addicted to drugs. What will be your child's story? My dad and my mom didn't work out, but he didn't try to see me. He didn't pay child support. He didn't look out for me when I needed him. He moved on and got another family and took care of that woman and those kids and forgot me as if I didn't exist or I didn't mean anything. You have to ask yourself, and especially for married men too, it's another question. I put a quote out a long time ago that says, your success and your accolades mean nothing if your wife and your children don't have good things to say about you.
Bars. I don't know if I agree with everything this man says, but right there pretty much breaks it down straight up. Let me break this down too. Phoenix Soul brought this to me. Here we go.
What's wrong with you voting for Barack Obama? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy. Black people, let me tell y'all something. If you don't ever hear me say preach again, they can kill me tomorrow. Let me tell you something. We're not going to ever get anywhere until we look into the mind of a black man. He doesn't think correctly. I don't care what he is. He can be a doctor. He can be an astrophysicist. The nigga ain't got no sense.
This preacher is saying that about us, fellas. Listen to him. You want to hear something? Listen.
You talk to him. You talk to a black man. He doesn't understand the world. He's never built anything. The most the black people have ever done, they did it here in America under white people's help. When they were in Africa, they didn't do nothing. Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy, not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa or the slave ships, black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level, and none of them made out of stone. All of them made out of grass and wood. Black men, before the white man ever got to Africa, the worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're killing one of those.
It's running wild everywhere, though. Bro, this is crazy. Man. I might have to put this in the mix.
Another over there. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged. The people who ran the nation are now leaving the nation because black folk don't know how to run no nation.
That's Pastor David Manning. If you ever, maybe you should, send him a retort if you'd like ladies and gentlemen. But that's crazy. Deontay, welcome. Who was that buck dancing? Who was that buck dancing? Kareem is Reverend. That's right. Yeah, that's Pastor David Manning dancing it up, Dante. Dancing it up. But I mean, hey, look. That there he goes. Yep, I don't agree with everything, but he pretty much sums it up. He does. But I disagree. I think we have full capability of doing what we need to do, but we're not. Nigeria's is run by, of course, black people, and they're doing quite well. Yes, there are some problems over there, but there appears to be problems everywhere. And oh yeah, and we will be doing something on that later, but for now, let's go forward. So basically,
child support thing, it's out of control, brother.
Yes. Surprise, ladies and gentlemen. I bring your favorite gaslighter to you right now. Let's have him break it down for you with his Malcolm X School t-shirt on.
It's out of control, brother. You cannot let a woman destroy a man's life financially because the relationship is over. I mean, I think black men need to organize, and we, had this dialogue. Black men need to organize and force a change in legislation regarding child support. First of all.
Okay. First of all, Mr. School Guy, we just went over the numbers. Most of the men, especially in our community, are not even paying enough to buy their child lunch for the month. I'm sorry, let's top it off at $400 a month, right? That's nothing. That's like you're literally putting your child on life support. If that. Don't let them get sick or need braces or need something like that. Oh, wait, the government's going to pay for that anyway, right? That's your deal, right? It's like this is the perfect time for the younger men in our community to realize that raw dogging goes wrong. It goes wrong. There's a high possibility it's going to go wrong. With that said, if you really want to not pay child support, put on a freaking rubber.
If I can't see my child, you don't get my money. If I can't see my child, you don't get my money. That should be.
Okay, that right there tells me that I can tell you that he probably was at least verbally abusive towards his women, because you would understand why a lot of these women cannot see the donor. At least half the women in our community get that DV, hands and feet treatment. That's 50% at least. Only 40. I'm being really nice. I'm being too nice. It's higher than that. But since 40% are the ones who report it, we know that that's at least, it could be as high as like 75, 80%. So no. See, but do you see how he's using the child to control the woman? Listen again.
Regarding child support. First of all, if I can't see my child, you don't get my money. If I can't see my
already I've been giving lessons using red pill ideology for you fellas. You had Corey Holcomb, and yes, Umar is red pill. Okay? You have Umar, okay? First, Corey said that if they don't love their mother, they don't love you. So these men don't want to see their children anyway. But they use the child to gain access to resources from that woman. And that includes this dude right here who built a fake school that is doing nothing for the community.
My child, you don't get my money. That should be law. Because too many women are denying us the right to see our children and yet still benefiting from child support. That should
The law, did you know that it's against the law to deny access to a person's child unless you've been abusive? Yeah, y'all seen me watch these court videos. I be watching them all the time. And unless there's a significant or moderate issue between like the woman was abused by the guy or something like that, or DV, or the guy is detrimental to the child, they're going to make sure you can see your kid. It's by law. But see, the courts, what they can't do is give that man access to you. And that's where this crap is coming from. This is that wake you up at 2 a.m. to see the child kind of shit. I'm telling you.
my money. That should be law. Because too many women are denying us the right to see our children and yet still benefiting from child support. That should be illegal, number one.
Not cool.
Let me pause right there. JG says, younger men, no, that's a generation. Hey, JG, I will tell you, you are correct. I was just trying to be nice. I got to try to be nice every once in a while. This has been going on for a long time. I do agree with that one wholeheartedly. But I guess why I'm saying younger men is that they're the only ones who can change it, because the other generations, the older men, there's nothing they can do. It's already the damage they've done. They've done it. They've done it. They've done it. It's done. It's done. Exactly. Phoenix Soul benefiting from $400, right? The grocery bill alone is $150 a week. F out of here. Exactly.
But, yes, and women should be forced to account for the child support too. Because I know a lot of fathers who pay child support and they still have to take care of their children after they pay child support, because the mother of the child is using child support on herself and not necessarily the children. So yes, child support should go on a card. It should go on a card, Art. And you have to use that credit card for all purchases for the child. So that way, if the father wants to, Art, I should be able to log into my child support folder, my child support.
Notice how he's talking about men. Look, let's face it. Most of the men aren't paying that much for child support in the first place. And the men that this would matter to, especially like the millionaires and all them, they have an attorney to do that. What did I tell you? It's not about treating the child right. It's about these men wanting access to the women. You want this woman to give you access to what she spends the money on for a measly $400 a month. The billing system for that will cost more than that. Now you see the real Umar. This is the real Umar right here, not the one who's posted himself up as, healing the community or whatever he tries to say.
Online profile, and I should be able to see what you're buying with my money. What is wrong with a Black father logging into the child support database, going to my profile and seeing that she bought my daughter some shoes, she paid for swimming lessons, class pictures, they went to the movies and dinner? I should see how my money is being spent.
And not measly $400 a month is spent. Measly $400 a month. And I'm being generous now because it's really $365. It may not even be that. Get the hell out of here.
Not all Black women are guilty of misappropriating the child support. I don't want to say that they're doing that, but
you're saying that they're doing that.
Do know a sizable proportion of Black women are guilty of misappropriating the child support.
And how can you misappropriate? How can you let me move it back to, how can you misappropriate $400 a month? I mean, think about it. Even let's say she took that money and she was being she's got the kid, right? She's got the kid. She takes that money and spends it all on her hair or some shoes or whatever, right? You still got to pay to take care of the kid. You don't need to. All you need to know is every once in a while, if you did care at all, is they ask, "Are you being well fed every week?" "Yeah, Daddy." That's all you need to know, because that's where your $400 went. To scrutinize dollar per dollar, get the heck out of here. Man, this is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. Wow, Tevin says this. When I used to be on child support from my dad when I was younger, was $67 every 2 weeks. Thank you for sharing that, Tevin. Every 2 weeks. Put together a whopping $134 a month. And you want to be able to check in on your ex's child support payments. See where the money's going. Child support, this is going to sound the strangest thing, but men who truly care about their kids will understand what I'm saying. Child support is the best deal the Black men have ever gotten. If your ex is struggling, the government takes care of your ex for you. Think of a service that would take care of somebody's child for $400 a month. A company, a business that would take care of your child, gave them clothing, housing, an entity. We're not even thinking about women or anything. Just an entity that would take care of your child For what Tevin was saying was basically $130 a month for some people. $400 is on the high end. That's the best that out of all deals, be it car, be it clothing, be it houses, be it property, be it TV sets, the best deal that black men ever got was child support. The average man. Rich man, they get a slightly less good deal because they still have to hold their children up to the same type of lifestyle they live. That's a different thing. Most of them don't, but I will throw that caveat in there. But for the average man working a minimum wage to regular wage job, it is the best deal out of any service in the world. You don't have to worry about any health issues with your child. You don't have to worry about feeding the child. You don't have to worry about taking care of the child. You don't have to worry about cleaning the child. You don't have to worry about taking the child to the hospital. You don't have to worry about any of that shit. For a measly $130 to $400 a month for the average guy, it's all done for you. It's all done for you. So that's why it's almost to the point of idiocracy, a new word I've made up, idiocracy, that you even complain about child support. And the funny thing is this, when child support runs out, it runs out when you don't have to pay anymore. The big bills for a real father start coming in, because we're talking about college now. Let me tell you something. These folks, these other folks of different races, they are spending nearly $1 million to educate each one of their children. If they can, if they get lucky enough that their kids go to the school, that school, like one of those, big schools like Duke or something, they are proud to pay it. That's after the kids, that's after the potential child support payments. That's when they're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 for some people. That's how successful other people do it. And you're worried about, and you ask this vice president, even at her sitting, even where she sits now, the first thing you ran to her for was child support forgiveness. Not enhanced child support, where they take your money and they quintuple it so that your child can go to a good school or something like that. Or you didn't say that you wanted your child to go to the best schools and you feel like you should be able to at least have a system with better schooling or something like that. No, you didn't even think about that. You didn't even think about your kid. You thought about your pocket. And let me stop. Let me play some.
Are guilty of misappropriating the child support.
And I hate the whole conversation regarding child support. Let's be honest. What is the percentage of women that is keeping, their finances away from their children and not using on the children's needs, right? What is that percentage? Yeah, there may be a small number of women doing that. There may be a few here and there, but what is the actual percentage of women that's doing that? Let's stop the cap.
1 to 3%.
Get all these women that be begging for the child of their father to be a part of their child's life. Okay, we got so many women that don't be putting the child's father on child support unless forced to. They give them chance after chance after chance after chance after chance again, and these dudes never get it right. So then when they get put on child support, now they complaining. There are not a lot. There may be some women, but the majority of women is not trying to actively keep they child away from their father. They be
Believe it or not, see, he is right. Believe it or not, what I've learned by watching these little court movies, because I'm a fan of that stuff now, a lot of women would have to commit perjury to keep the child off of child support. The government wants them on child support because they do not want to worry about the children. The government doesn't want to worry about the children because without child support, the child's going to die. Wait, let me rephrase that. Without the overall child support and the man putting in the mere pittance he puts in, because the child support, it costs like $1,500 a month to take care of it. Basic needs of a child, $1,500 a month, 1500 minimum. That's like you're feeding them, you're feeding them, you're getting them clothes, and that's about it. And you have to take them to the doctor. That's about it. That measly $400 you put in on top of what the government's paying. How about this? You pay what the government pays. How about that? How about you pay what the government pays? I think it's what, $50 billion a year. It's up there. It is up there. This is what the situation that this is so I'm going to save that for the next one.
Hey guys, it's Brian McKnight here. I've been traveling about 17 hours to Guam. I have a concert tonight, and I got off the plane to some of the most heinous craziness I've ever seen in my life. That my oldest son, Brian, would post that I'm abandoning my children. And the reason why, I suppose, is because I have a new family. And I guess this stems from a post that I made the other day about my son, Jack, who I'm very proud of, which isn't to say I'm not and haven't been proud of my other children, but I was proud of this one for the things that he did that day. But we'll get back to it in a second.
Nailed it, Phoenix. Major deadbeat. A major deadbeat. The fact that he even made this public is crazy to me.
Anyone who knows me knows over the last 20 years, 30 years now, as a matter of fact, that I've been there for my children every step of the way until recently. And let's be clear.
Not according to your children. Not according to your children.
My two sons are 30.
See, that's the funny thing is that the problem with a lot of narcissistic fathers is that they always feel like they're doing the best for their kids when most of them are not doing anything for their kids. I think that was a perfectly scene with Cam and what's the guy's name who married the singer, him?
27, not 12, not 13, but 30 and 27. Now, my daughter's about to turn 18. That's another story I'll get to in a second. I've never missed a day of child support. I've never done anything adverse to my children whatsoever. I've always been there. I've always been there with advice, whether they took it or not. I've always been the sounding board, and I've always been the one that tried to.
So he had to pay child support. So that he had to be forced to pay it. Because if he made a deal with his wife, he wouldn't have to pay it. He wouldn't be on child support. So they had to force him to do it. Oops. That slipped out, bro. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Akiva Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman & Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law. Please subscribe to our channel. A lot of the inquiries that we get have to do with child support arrearage forgiveness. In other words, is there a way to get rid of a huge arrearage? So the scenario is you have a child, you haven't paid support in a while, you owe $80,000 now, that you're at risk.
Like Kevin Samuels.
For everybody to come after you. Is there a way to get rid of it? Well, a big part of the analysis is to whom is the money owed? You see, if it's owed to the mom, there's one method. If it's owed to the state of Michigan, there's another method. Now, why would it be owed to the state of Michigan? Simple. Mom was on assistance at the time. So the state gave her money upon her commitment that if she finds out who the father is, they got to know so that they can go after him. So she gets the assistance, tells them it's you. All of a sudden, the state comes after you for all the money they paid her, $80,000, let's say. Now you're stuck with this huge arrearage. The good news is, if it's owed to the state, there is such a thing as filing a petition to discharge state-owed debt. There is a mechanism by which to do that. There's a process to follow. If you have a large arrearage, you can't possibly pay it back. You can apply, and the state can forgive it.
Shout out to Indiana Mom, Act Natural Under Pressure, and King Sigma. Here we go.
That's a good thing. You'll spend a few $1,000s doing it, but at the end, you'll save many, many, many thousands of dollars. And it becomes important to follow a process. And there's documentation, and there's certain inventories of assets and stuff that the state makes you file. Your attorneys will assist you with that, and you can discharge
They ain't going to do that. They ain't going to do that.
That's that. If it's owed to the mom, it's considerably harder. The court doesn't really have a right to say, well, I know you owe Yosi this money, but we're going to say he doesn't have to pay it. It's not how it works. If the money's owed to the mom, really only the mom can say, I'm waiving that arrearage. And in many cases, the mom simply won't do it. Sometimes they will. Sometimes instead of $80,000 debt, out of which they're collecting nothing, the mom may agree to take, I don't know, $10,000 or $15,000 cash and wipe out the rest. Why would the mom do that? Because a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, right? So let's say the guy's disabled. They can't possibly get a penny off him, but he's got the ability to borrow from his dad, maybe 15 grand. Pay it to you, you wipe out the rest, but at least you get something. And you haven't collected a penny all this time, so it's good to get something rather than nothing. That's the reason why the mom may do that. But if the mother refuses to waive anything, and the money is owed to the mom, so she's the only one who is in position to say yes or no, and she refuses, you're going to be stuck with that debt. The only thing you can do is ask the court to put you maybe on a more lenient payment plan, but that just says how you pay it. But the debt itself will remain. If you have any questions about that, reach out. Of course, we'll be glad to help you out.
This is the legal, this is a legal office here. Okay, so you cannot argue with what he just said. You cannot argue. Mr. Goldman is the fitting stereotype of lazy lawyer, act natural under pressure in the house, and a mom in the house. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Yeah, he's trying to help people out.
I'm back with another triggering topic, and today I want to talk about child support.
You're triggered in the house. Let's talk about child support. Here we go.
Yeah, you heard me. Child support. Because every time I'm on social media, I see men constantly, and even more specifically, Black men talking about child support and how Black women are having children and being incentivized to have these children by Black men simply because of the child support and financial benefits that they will receive. And frankly, I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing this fake, false, and twisted narrative. But you know what? I had planned to go in, but I would rather go in with facts and receipts and logic, since that's what quote unquote men say that they respect.
Don't forget to hit the like on your way in, y'all.
So let's get into it. Now, according to usafacts.org, about 1 in 5 children in the US are receiving child support payments. Wow, that means that 4 out of 5 children aren't getting child support at all. And then if you were to go by the Kids Count data center numbers, well, they say that only 1 in 4 single mother families receive child support. Now, that doesn't seem like women are these evil child support demons, does it? But you know what? Let's dig deeper. Now, out of that small pool of people that actually get child support, about 7 in 10 of those parents, which is about 69.8%, received some of the payments, not even the full amount. And only 45.9% of this pool of child support recipients even received the full amount. And let's be clear here that it is just about 24% of,
and that's counting all races of people. That's just not black people. So
single mother or female-headed homes that receive child support at all. Now let's talk about how much these payments are. How much are these payments that these men are saying that women are willing to have a child that will be with them for at least 18 years for? Or how much are these payments that these women are spending on themselves and not the children? These women are buying Malaysian bundles, getting their nails done, their lashes done, their hair done, paying their rent and car note, and going on lavish vacations, all on that man's dime of child support. Now, is it 10K a month? No. Is it 5K a month? No. Is it 1K a month? No. The average child support payment is $430 a month, which equals up to $107.50 a week, which doesn't even cover daycare, food, or gas to take the child back and forth to the places that they need to go.
And not to mention babysitting. If the mother finally wants to get out for a minute, guess what? That's $100 right there.
So I'm gonna need y'all to be for real, because no one is having your children to get money from you. Having children is actually still a financial burden to the woman. Now, these men are barely paying $100 a week, and y'all think that that's helping somebody? It isn't helping anyone. Not to mention that less than half of the people that receive child support, they don't even get the full amount, or they get nothing at all. Now, you know what? I also want to talk about welfare, or TANF, which men like to frequently speak on. Now, I've heard many a podcast say Black women are having babies by men.
That's Bridget, that's per household in many cases. 400, what she said was really that's high on the hog child support at $450.
And babies by Black men strictly to get government benefits and welfare checks. Well, the average welfare payment for a woman with 2 children, which, by the way, is the average amount of children that Black women have by the time they end childbearing age, it is $418 a month. To break that down to you, the average rent right now of a 2-bedroom apartment is $1,320. So it actually would be a hindrance for a Black woman to have a child for a check by a Black man, because she wouldn't be getting anything or coming up at all. Black men have the lowest labor force participation rate and employment rate of all races of men. So by that logic, it would be more advantageous for a Black woman, if she was looking for a come up, or a man to get a hefty child support payment from, she would need to choose an Asian man, who are the highest earners in the US, or a white man who's number 2. Honestly, I'm gonna need y'all to stop just saying stuff because it sounds good or feels good to you, or it feels good to bash Black women and make you feel like you're the victim. Now, if you didn't want to be a father or you didn't want a baby by that woman because you think that she's after your do-rag and your Swisher Sweets collection, then you should have protected your seed. Where
Ours.
protection, or better yet, don't have intercourse with any woman that you don't want to be the mother of your child, because anytime you have intercourse with a woman, there is a possibility of impregnating her. But you know what? Asking for sexual discipline by you Negroes is a bit too much to ask for. Now, hopefully, this has been a teachable moment so you Negroes can stop acting like child support has ruined your life, or that
she said
every Black woman, or heck, any race of woman, is living good off of child support, because it is a lie. Don't let these manosphere morons have you out here looking stupid. They don't know anything. They just cherry pick stats or out and out lie to prove a point that women are the enemy, because they know that that's what gets them clicks. And that's what makes you losers come out of pocket and cash at them.
That's exactly. I'll be going over that next week about how the manosphere is stealing money from broke men, okay, of our community. They're stealing your money by telling you lies.
Because they speak to your anger, they speak to your bitterness, and they speak to your dislike for women. Now they are lining their pockets with your dysfunction.
Exactly.
Believe that. Anywho, if y'all watch this whole video,
I mean, you let me break it down. You gotta give your triggered some love. If you like and subscribe here, definitely give your triggered a like and subscribe as well if you haven't yet. Her content is amazing. I want to make sure that I say that she's excellent. She's got great content. And let's go to the next one. Just a minute. If anybody wants to come up, just put drop the link into the chat, and you can come on up and speak your piece. You can come on up and speak your piece. And guess who else was irresponsible? Pause it right there. And I want to make sure I don't play the music. Here we go. Here we go.
Thought was just after child support money. However, T.I. stepped in, insisting that King take responsibility and support the child. The situation took a darker turn when King was arrested just days ago, right before the baby's due date, raising concerns about his future as a father.
What a great role model for his soon-to-be child to know.
T.I. has openly expressed his frustration with King, stating that he feels he's given up on trying to straighten him out. This admission suggests that King may face significant challenges in the near future, potentially leading to a difficult path ahead as a young father. T.I.'s comments on Hot 107.9 in August revealed not only the news about King's impending fatherhood, but also hinted at King's initial reluctance to keep the baby. Despite this, T.I. played a pivotal role in convincing him to step up. T.I. joked about how King had caused him a lot of grief over the years, and quipped that he plans to raise the baby in a way that makes King's life equally challenging. With King facing legal troubles and T.I. seemingly resigned to a long road ahead for his son, it's clear that the
Exactly, Indiana mom, like father, like son. Couldn't have said it any better.
family dynamics are complicated. The situation underscores the importance of responsibility and the challenges of navigating parenthood, especially
why it's taking knowledge breaks it down perfectly. All that money with a face only a mother could love. Maybe that's his problem. Bars.
under such turbulent circumstances.
And he just became a father. So I got 2 grandchildren now.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, I got 2 granddaughters. I got a grandson on the way.
Wow.
King's about to have a son.
King's about to have a son. Congrats.
Yeah.
Act Natural Under Pressure says, my pops couldn't pay $120 a month. That's a month, ladies and gentlemen. I said it, not a week, a month. As a pastor back in the day, parents were married 20 years before divorcing.
And I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all times. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you tortured me. I promise you, there will be an indictment in this young one.
Many people are questioning King's readiness to become a parent. There's a prevailing sentiment that
The rat girl breaks. I want to know who would have sex with horse.
he's not fit for the
Leave the poor man alone. Leave the poor man. No, never mind.
responsibility, with some suggesting that his partner must have had ulterior motives for allowing him to impregnate her, possibly.
Did you hear what he just said? I got to play that over again.
Ulterior motives for allowing him to impregnate. Prevailing sentiment that he's not fit for the responsibility, with some suggesting that his partner.
Okay, listen to this, folks. This is the funny part right here. And I'm only stopping this because a lot of men come with this this bitterness. This is their statement that a lot of them make.
Suggesting that his partner must have had ulterior motives for allowing him to impregnate her, possibly.
Having ulterior motives to allow him to impregnate her. That don't even sound right when I just repeat what it is. Okay. He didn't have to have sex with this woman. He didn't see, where does that come in? Where does the logic come in that when you have sex and you what is it? Shoot up the club, as they put it, right? Where does this part about, the normal biological system doing what it does? I think if men focus on saying to yourself, okay, women are supposed to get pregnant. So if they are supposed to get pregnant through this biological joining, and you don't want to have a kid, like what Corey, ugly bowling ball man Holcomb was saying, then you should simply just take the precautions. Oh, sorry, my bad. It's too late, isn't it? You're already irresponsible. You got him. You got him already, don't you, fellas? You got him already, huh? Well, okay, the ones who don't, you're gonna have to take the raw dog out of the whole equation. There's two ways to do that. One, don't have sex. Focus on your career. There's nothing wrong with that. Will some idiots laugh at you for doing that? Yes, they will. But remember, those idiots are the broke idiots. And the second one is by being cautious and being a leader for both you and the person you are, having sex with. That means having a condom or getting your stuff snipped, whatever. Even though then you can still just spread STDs. So basically, the bottom line is this. Really, the safest way to go through life is not to raw dog. Really, quite honestly, the best thing for you to do is, if you're so traditional as you men claim to be, you're not supposed to be having sex until you get married. That's what traditional is. That's the definition. That's one of the things. That's in the tradition. That's on the tradition list. Look it up. Is not to have sex until you get married. I bet y'all won't be able to do that, huh? If you do, I will applaud. Why Seeking Knowledge breaks it down like this. That's the toxic masculinity that is prevalent among our men. The elders failed the young men for so many generations. Now, this is the mushroom crowd. More died from this in war. Remember that. Bars. Rat Girl says, why seek knowledge? If that horse is average, we're all as F. Exactly why seeking knowledge from Act Natural Under Pressure. He DIDD and lived horribly. The seeds he sowed. Bars. I well said, everyone. Let me play some more. Here we go.
Financial gain. One commenter expressed disbelief, saying, "Who the F let garlic impregnate them? I'm not congratulating a 20-year-old on having a baby. Good luck." Another chimed in with a reminder from their mother. If you don't
It's
have
not that
anything
he's 20 years old. He's a very immature 20 years old. That's the problem.
nice to say, don't say anything at all. But added, "I'm grown now and want to know who let him do that." While these critiques may come off as harsh, they raise valid points about King's suitability as a father. He has a reputation for
No,
being
he's not suitable. He's completely not suitable. And bottom line is that, hey, he didn't have to make that woman pregnant. Remember, guys, you got to put something inside of them to make them pregnant. They don't get pregnant just from kissing you, or for going out to the movies with you, or when you're supposed to take them out to dinner. And that is the biggest thing I'm going to throw out in this mix is like, fellas, if you are so traditional, you shouldn't even be thinking about sex when you first meet these women. I mean, you can think about it a little bit, but your whole thing should be vetting her, taking her to dinner, enjoying her company, and enjoying her vibe to see if you even want to be around her. Because if you don't want to be around her, somebody else does. Yeah, if you don't want to be, she'll be somebody else's queen. But see, what happened is this. Y'all got greedy where everything you see, you want to smash. And you're mad if somebody else smashed, even though you really didn't like that woman in the first place. It's the weirdest thing, the weirdest psychology, but when sit down after you cool off from what I just said, I want you to sit down and really think about it. The Rat Girl breaks down perfectly. DJ, they want the patriarchy on a budget. Dollar Tree Kings. Yeah. Dollar Tree Kings. That's perfect. That works out. That's perfect. That's exactly what happened. Now let's break into Shannon Sharp. Wait, where's Shannon Sharp? Oh, here.
So Tyrese Gibson was arrested over unpaid child support in order to pay $73,000 to avoid staying in jail. Now, if you guys,
Yeah. I mean, how do you do that? He's gainfully employed. He should be, you know what he should be saying? He should be, you know something? $73,000 for my lovely bundles of joy is not enough. Here, let's round it up and I'll give them 80. No, that's not what he's saying, though. He's complaining about it. He's getting like on social media. Let's see if I thought I had Club Shay Shay here. Hold on one second. Where's Club Shay Shay at? Where's Club Shay Shay at? Dang, I'll put it in the second one. And here's this guy right here. T Salt.
This is King Riches.
Pause that for a minute. Let me bring it down, the volume down a little bit. I don't want to blow everybody's ear out. Here we go.
One of Just Pearly Thing's plantation bucks. He's one of the main black men who defended Pearl after her racist statements. One of the main reasons Pearl has become such a success in the black community is that the black manosphere has given her free rein to ridicule, debase, and insult black women, and black women voluntarily continue to go on her podcasts. These black men don't like you, they certainly don't marry you, and they don't find you attractive. But the point of this video is for black women to see these black men for who they really are and why you should stop going on these podcasts, because all you're doing is allowing them to use you for entertainment and to line their pockets. This is an old video of King Riches before he could afford to get an average white woman. But listen to the disdain in his voice when he describes black women, and I'm sure he speaks for many black men.
You're brutally honest and you take an honest look at in the world and you look at the average black chick you see walking around, she's probably not good looking, like, and you have to just be real about it, right?
And look at him. Look at him. I think it's safe to say he's not the best looking dude either. Why is it always the ugliest ones that make the comments about a woman's appearance?
And this was a lot of what a lot of people said in the comments under that video. They were saying that, you know, a lot of black chicks just ain't good looking. That's why a lot of black guys are going elsewhere, going to other races of women, you know, and, you know, there's other factors as in, like, you know, a lot of black chicks having bad attitude, being overweight, etc., etc. But, you know, that really stuck out to me because, you know, when I do just like take an observation of like the average black chick you see, like for instance, if you see 100 black chicks in a day, how many of those chicks are like a 7, you know, a 7 or above? Like, it's not really that many, bro. I think it is a unique problem or an exclusive problem to black.
Notice how he's talking about his black counterparts. This is a dude who himself is not that good looking himself. This, unfortunately, is part of the problem. This is how a lot of the men think. But what's funny to me is, like, when they do, you know, get what they want, which is a woman of another culture, race, whatever you want to call it. It's not like she don't look that great. Very few people you can say, oh, I see why he got with her. Wow, she fine in here. Very few people. I mean, even look at Kanye. He got with basically somebody who's had like 20, you know, plastic surgeries. She was probably a decent looking woman originally, but okay, but that basically they're not, see, the thing is this, the appearance thing to these men is not the shape of your face. It's not the shape of your build or anything like that, or your body. It's not the way you carry your hair. It's the same problem they have with themselves. Skin color. That's why black men today are competing for the number one spot of being the most, let me try to be nice tonight, unappreciative of the melanin they have. See, what they're thinking is that if they are with a black woman, they cannot get out of their own skin. If they are with a woman of another skin tone, be it another race or something like that, they think they can get out of their own skin. They really do. I bet nobody told you like that, huh? Yeah. They want to get out of their own skin. They don't like themselves. Because if you like yourself, and especially if you look like King Riches, you can appreciate the way other women look. That's just what's going on. He's not a good-looking guy. Why does he think why does he think he deserves a top-notch woman when we all know he's a low-value man? The fact that he's speaking on women like this already puts him in the low-value category. Only other men would appreciate, who think like him, would appreciate what his ugly ass is saying. And they probably ugly too. Ugly men, for some reason, always like to walk into the punch and call other people ugly. I don't know what it is. I really don't. Let me keep it going. Here we go.
Black people and black men in particular, because the average black chick walking around is not pretty. Bruv, I don't know what time it is wherever you're listening from, yeah, but if you go outside now, yeah, well, not now because it's right here in the UK, it's like 1:30 in the morning.
Why Seeking Knowledge breaks it down perfectly. Their image is straight garbage to the rest of the world. It is in crisis mode to try to scramble to blame someone. And black women are unprotected, so they let it roll. Got to convince the world. Exactly. You know what's funny though? If you go to any modeling where they, feature the most beautiful models in the world, half of the models are black. And I don't mean like maybe black, I'm talking black, like chocolate and darker. Because in the modeling industry, that is seen as a sign of beauty. And only black men think it's not. Black men don't own the modeling industry. But for some reason, the men that don't look like them cannot get enough of the beautiful women who come out of West Africa and other places in Africa to model for them. And I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame that there's other races of men appreciating black women more than black men do. But that's where we are now. That's where we are. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed that these fellow men have the nerve to make statements like this.
Sunday night. But tomorrow, yeah, do this experiment. Whether you're a man or woman, whoever you are listening, yeah, you just go outside and you count every black chick that you walk past or you see, right? And make a tally, yeah, of how many black chicks you see and how many of them is actually pretty in the face.
This is how Brian McKnight thinks. That's why he treats his kids like shit. His real kids. His new kids, hey, they're wonderful people. I have not seen them be mean or anything. So I ain't going to say nothing about them. But Brian McKnight, that he thinks the same way that hang riches things. Same way. And that's why I don't believe there's any way to get out of the situation with men taking care of the children. The men in our community don't even like each other and don't even like themselves. They like what they can get. They like what they can attain or access. They like sex, but that doesn't necessarily mean they like it because of the woman they're with. They just, I mean, look at Diddy. Diddy's a perfect example. Diddy is literally an SEX slave. He's let his dysfunction control him to the point where he's going away for probably a pretty long time. And along with that are a bunch of other people. When you hate yourself, when you're mentally twisted like these men, they're dangerous. They really are, because they don't see you as human anymore. The same reason they accuse other races of thinking of them like, they actually think of their women the same way, the exact same way. And if a divester ever has a reason to do that, it's like, look, they always, what's the saying? Oh yeah, you're letting the oppressor. Well, it's like, nigga, you oppressing her too. What's the difference? At least that guy has some money. You put a baby in her, and now she got to take care of your kid, and you keep making excuses to go over there to her house at 12 and 2 in the morning. That's oppression. Whether it's irresponsibility or contrived, when you make a woman pregnant that you do not feel is the woman of your dreams and that you want to marry, you automatically, by default, oppress her. Now she's got to take care of her kids. You reduced her options of being married to somebody else, like you really care. And she has to take care of your child at least until the child's 18. You might, once in a while, through some greedy reason, want to take care of the kid yourself. But for the most part, most of you, a lot of you, I'll say a lot, are oppressing that person. As soon as you made that woman pregnant, you're oppressing that person, just like you felt the oppression from other races. The same way. The same way. Tanya Sweat in the house. I'm feeling oppressed looking at some of them on the streets. I feel you. That's really what we should call that's what we should call unplanned pregnancies from irresponsible men, is a form of oppression. Maybe that will sink into everybody, and that will help this problem, I don't know what, 20 years from now. The results you won't know until 20 years from now, right? Or at least 18. Natural Under Pressure says, yep, no kind of change in them. Why seek a knowledge? Last I checked, the only thing that doesn't change is something DEAD.
In the face. Forget about their boobs. Forget about the fat ass. Forget about all of that. Just look at their face, bro. How many of them are actually...
Look at their face, but look at his face. Look at their face. He's talking about black women and how unattractive they are. Look at his face. In many, he hates himself. He is disgusted in himself, but his therapy or his healing body is to throw that self-shame, insecurity, and hate for himself onto other people, namely Black women. The world knows there are a lot of beautiful Black women. The world knows that. People of different races know that. And then this guy's on here. Now I can see why he really didn't have a problem with just pearly things. He's worse than she is. He's just got a disguise on. A permanent disguise. He's probably like, yeah, Nick. Remember when Nick was dissing him? This was a long time ago. But yeah, remember Nick Fuentes, who's known as being, the supremacist, the extremist guy. This dude thinks just like him. King Richards thinks just like him.
He's pretty, bro. It's not that many, bro.
The only thing
it's not that many, bro. Like
he thinks like one of the worst people in the United States, Nick Fuentes. He thinks just like him. This Black man right here. Here's the sad part and the painful part. There's a lot of Black men think just like he does. A lot. And that's why we have the result of what we have in our community. See, you have to value something to respect something. And there's a large portion of men, evidence the manosphere, that simply don't respect themselves and definitely don't respect Black women. They think they do. They think they respect themselves, but they don't. They really don't. All right, here we go.
So I want to talk about why broke, desperate women are easy targets for low-quality, high-earning men. And what inspired this video is a recent clip that went viral from an interview that Corey Holcomb did with Cam Newton.
Women in poverty, I can control them better. A girl
there. I could really just go on for a while. I'll play some more of it though. Do you really think Corey Holcomb's the only one who thinks like that? Do you think Corey Holcomb is really the only man out there that thinks like that? Especially, let me play it through.
With Cam Newton.
Women in poverty, I can control them better. A girl who can't afford to say, fuck you, Corey, I'm gone. She just can't afford to do it. So I take advantage of that. Now, that might be wrong, but her poverty.
I take advantage of that. And he knows it's wrong.
And my needs, most of the time, it even out. I don't really need a lot of their time. And they don't tell me to fuck off because they know when I come over, their children can get some outlet Jordans.
Outlet Gucci.
Yeah.
So basically, what Corey is saying is that women who are desperate for money tolerate his poor behavior and mistreatment of them because they are broke and need him to provide basic necessities for them and their children. He is saying that women who have their own
Now you see why they make women pregnant. These are just the men that have a little bit of money. I told you it was about access. And I'm sure somebody before me has told you it's about access. Making women pregnant is about access. It's like they automatically, when a woman has a child by a man, that man now has access to that woman anytime he wants. Or that's what he's thinking. Now, a lot of times it doesn't work out. And you know something? You know how it does, what happens next? Remember those Sunday shows we used to have, which were really sad, with all those women passing away because of a jealous ex? I'm gonna have to do that again because we have to remind you the results of this. A woman's life is 9 times less possible. I hope I'm saying this right. After she gets pregnant, because the man never intended to have to take care of the kid. He just wants to control you. Look, this dude can't even cut his beard right. Got more on left, less on the left. What an ugly beard. He's an ugly man. And it's funny to me. Isn't it funny that every time, it just seems like every time, the worse they look, the more they talk.
money and can provide for themselves are harder to control because they don't need him for their survival. And ladies, this is why it's very important for women to have our own money, our own careers and education, and also not glamorize or put men in relationships on a pedestal. That way you'll be less likely to choose men out of desperation because you don't necessarily need them to provide for you. It'll be more.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. I know there are manipulators out there who feel like just because they're taking care of somebody, they can treat them like crap. They really do think that way. What Corey just said is exactly how a lot of men think.
More of a desire.
Let me pause that because I think I'm done with that clip right there.
We got a round table of black men. You're looking at different generations.
Oh my God. Look, I don't know how it works out like that. I don't know how it works out. Look. I don't think this. Look, this guy is even older than me. This guy right here, not that great. Look, this guy. Watch, but they're going to talk about women. Watch.
Let's talk about how we got here in this place financially. Like, I want to hear from y'all. Like, okay, Yasha Allah said a little bit earlier that his biggest barrier to wealth was the knowledge. Roy the chef, what would you say was your biggest barrier to get into the bag?
For me, the first thing, obviously, it would be the knowledge. I thought money in the shoebox was a savings account for the longest. That's my forms of monetary saving.
That's the stash right there.
Yeah, and then you add that coupled with things that have long-term effects that you don't really pay attention to. For me, as a young man, I was 19 when I had my first son.
Oh, here it comes.
Child support, man. I started off a year in arrears, a year back. Ain't even know. I didn't even know.
Wow.
So they add that in addition to what you paying moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So as a young man, you don't have no economic classes, teaching you in grade school how to handle your money and so on and so forth.
What would you say is one of the
Wise thinking knowledge says they have stopped even trying, sitting there all challenged in their faces and energy looking like stank funk and filth bars.
things that really held you back from building wealth?
Knowledge. I had to live and learn because my parents didn't taught me dealing with as finance.
Right.
They were just like what you were saying.
Really, quite honestly, I don't think parents are supposed to teach you finance. I think that's what you go to school for. I think what teaches you finance and other things in life is common logic as a human being and being educated in the school system, where that's why they give you math classes and English classes. That's why they do that. Why do, it's like, I don't look back and go, why didn't this, my father teach me this, or why didn't my father teach me that? It's like, damn, I'm a logical you're a logical human, really, when you start to get around 16, 17, unless you're just dumb. Right? So you should be able to, even if your parents didn't do the best job educating you from, up to 17, you can still, with the will, educate yourself. We love to blame our parents. If we can't, black men, if we can't blame a girlfriend, we love to blame our parents, especially the mom, huh? Y'all do, huh? Let me keep it going. Here we go.
Early just existing but not living, and it's been passed down to generations. But what I learned from somebody that's older than me how to buy my first home. I bought my first home when I was 24 years old.
Your parents, look, see, that's what I told you. He's blaming his parents. That stuff you're supposed to learn out in school.
Wow, all praises.
24 years old, but I still had a lot to learn. I didn't know nothing about credit. I know how to get a home for a debt to ratio, things of that nature, and save money. But I didn't know anything about credit.
Right.
But what stopped my journey, I got tired of debt.
So debt. So while we talking about this, is this the Louisiana Fest or something? Because now you got shot. Now you got Boot Soldier 337 in the house. Why is Mardi Gras going down on the Black Men Career Channel? Why is everybody from Louisiana hopping in on here, man? We got a lot of Louisiana love on Black Men's Career.
Mush Mouth Mafia. Mush Mouth Mafia. That's
y'all know, man. As soon as y'all join that Cam Up link, we throwing you on. We having a panel discussion tonight. So I'm gonna take it back now to my brother Yasha Allah. All right. Boot Soldier said he in there. All right, we waiting for you, brother. What kind of made the shift for you, Yasha Allah, to go from having no knowledge, not making the best financial decisions, to then putting yourself on a path to improve your finances? What was it that made the switch?
I was around some good men who taught me, but when you're young, you don't want to hear it. You're chasing the women. That's all I was about.
Yeah. Chasing the women.
It's that fast dollar, the women. Military, fast dollar women. Got me a new truck. I did that because I did work. And the women. I saw the money. Buying. Having a good time. Having a good time, go to the club. You know how we get down. And then you start thinking the kids getting older. You know what I'm saying? You're getting older. You don't want to hear it. You're chasing the women. That's all I was about.
You chasing the women.
It's
Okay.
that fast dollar, the women. Military, fast dollar women. Got me a new truck. I did that because I did work. And the women. I saw the money. Buying. buying, having a good time, go to the club. You know how we get down. Buying, having a good time, go to in the women. I saw the money, buying. That because I did work in the women. I saw the money, buying. In the women. I saw the money, buying. Having a good time, go to the club. You know how we get down. And then you start thinking the kids are getting older. You know what I'm saying? You're getting older. And then you like your bones start hurting and you're still working. You're like, you know what? I want to retire. You start looking like, oh, I can't retire. Oh my gosh. So I had to do something else. You know what I mean? So I had to go back to focus what everybody told me to start putting it to work. You know, because like I said, I had some good people and they was millionaires. And I talked.
Oh my. I wish he would say something that we can grasp.
So you know how that goes, meeting people. But listen, I got one thing on my mind. That was it. But you start realizing.
Bang, and the women.
They did tell me something like you're telling me.
Right.
I'm learning from you. But a lot of young people, they're not going to see it until they get older. Then it's going to be almost too late because they're making a lot of laws different for us credit and everything else. And you're going to regret it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the smartest thing he said at the end. You're gonna regret it. Why seeking knowledge breaks it down, and they love so much to be released from accountability and responsibility, but they're fellow bussy holding pals all the time. It appears to be orgasmic to these folks. Exactly. Hence the man love. Yeah, exactly.
Now, I love everything that you said right there, Yasha Allah. Very important points. One word that you said really
Ban. Sorry, folks.
stuck out to me. Pain. Most people do not change unless they've experienced enough pain to improve their condition.
Stop it. Get some help.
And I think that's what we all share in common, especially as Black men. You know, we found ourselves in different situations, whether it was pain of child support, pain of the military, whether it was
pain of child support, pain of investing in your own child's life, pain of investing a lot less than what your child needs. Child support, like I said before, is the best deal for 90%, at least 90% of the human beings in our community. And I say human beings because there are some women who do pay child support. Ask Halle Berry. Ban. That's what, see, the old man broke it down. Even back then, men's focus was on buying stuff for themselves, chasing after women, for sex, of course, because how can you continue to chase after women if you just want to be married? You find the right one and you court that person and then you get married if, and that's a big if, you are really practicing being traditional. But he said chasing after women. Therefore, he just soft snitched on his crew. It's, when you think about it, a man in our community's dreams is to allocate women for the most part. There's a small portion of men that actually do want to educate themselves, do want to, get a career, not a job, a career, and then have a family. And the type of men that do that, other men call simps. The type of men who do that, who want to get a career and start a family with a loving wife that he can love too, the majority of the men call a simp. Imagine that.
Pain of being at a job that you didn't want to be at. The pain of
being at a job that you didn't want to be at. Hey, that's what college is for, just to get to the job that you want to be at. If there's anything that might incentivize men from going to college, is this. Do you want to work for somebody else and not enjoy what you're doing? Or do you want to work in a career that pays well and you call the shots? Or at least up to where your boss is, right? It's up to you. It's up to you. You can only make that decision. Unless you're just going to say you're dumb as rocks. If you say you're dumb as rocks, that kind of absolves you from going to college and trying to get a career. If you're dumb as rocks. But you cannot, you cannot start blaming. This guy's literally in the way he sounds in his voice. I'm not saying he is blaming. It's almost like he's blaming work for being work.
Being in debt. A lot of people will never change because they do not have enough pain for them to stop doing what they're doing right now.
No, they have plenty of pain. That I disagree with him. There's been plenty of pain. They just don't care. Because it's all about buying, and chasing after women. Like the old man said. Like the old man broke it down. He broke it down. That's the whole key. That's the whole key. And the majority of the young men and the middle-aged men and obviously the older men have is buying. This, sorry, people, I have to translate the mush mouth. Buying, and chasing after women. Nothing's changed. Nothing at all.
The worst thing that you can be in your life is comfortable, right in the middle of things. Sometimes if you're looking for motivation to level up, you got to go through more pain. And I think that.
No, you don't. All you got to do, what he's doing is he's speaking to those who are hard-headed or that are hard-headed. All it takes is common sense. It might be painful to find out the truth, but the truth is the truth. Example. You say you want a Mercedes-Benz for a car, but you want the nice 2024 model, and you work at Starbucks. Unless you're an executive at Starbucks, you're not getting that car. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of people who don't believe that. They will somehow get the car, drive it around for a while, and then it will be repoed. And get this. The car dealership knew that was going to happen when you bought it. It doesn't go to them. Believe it or not, it doesn't go back to the car dealership. It goes back to the company that bought it, that legally bought the car. for you until you pay it off. I want to play this one more time.
Louisiana Fest or something. Body from Louisiana hopping in on here. We throwing you on. We having a panel discussion tonight. So I'm gonna tell you, Sha'ala, I do
around some good men who taught me, but you know, when you're young, you don't want to hear it. You chasing the women. That's all I was about. Chasing that fast dollar, the women. Military, fast dollar women, got me a new truck. I did that because I did work. Chasing that fast dollar, the women. Military, fast dollar women, got me a new truck. I did that because I did work. Chasing that fast dollar, the women. Military, fast dollar women, got me a new truck. I did that because I did work. And the women. I saw the money, buying. Women, got me a new truck. I did that because I did work. And the women. I saw the money, buying. Having a good
Buying. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Let me hit the beat.
Money work.
Shout out. Bridget Mouton. Act Natural Under Pressure. Indiana. Why is seeking knowledge? Act Natural Under Pressure. Kevin. The Rock Girl.
Money, todo el dinero. Solo un par de gente se lleva el botín entero. Funny, pasa verdadero. Si tienen lo verde siempre llegará primero. Pero llegaremos antes o después. Solo a lo suyo, que Dios te la ve. Que por más que
Thank everybody for coming. Phoenix.
Yo vendo mi alma, lo lograré. Seré el más grande, no olvidaré de dónde vengo ni cómo fue. Money work.
Thanks again, everybody, for coming through. Seeking knowledge. I hope you're doing everything cool. Indiana mom in the house too. All right, everybody. See you on the next one.